Detachment. We often think that is cutting away, that's forcing something to happen, forcing ourselves to let go of something, stripping away of something forcefully, stopping ourselves from not caring for something anymore. But it's so much deeper than that. And it's much more gentle than that. It's much more loving than that. To me, detachment is more so about choosing something grander and greater. Detachment is choosing to give yourself that grace in order to understand what the real attachment is, because detachment from something is attachment to something else. You just have to understand it. So, a great example of that is when you truly listen to your body's cravings. You know, we don't crave sweet things because we're bad people. We crave sweet things because there is something within that candy that your body wants, like a vitamin or a mineral that is within that candy that your body desires. And you could say, I'm just not gonna eat candy, I'm just gonna stop myself from eating candy. Yeah, but that would be a forceful road, and that would almost feel like going against the grain. It's quite painful. Cold turkey is quite painful. It just is. But rather, you could say, okay, I like this candy. How can I have it in a more healthy way? And through that, you can ask yourself, what are the ingredients in that candy that makes my body want it so bad? That makes my body crave it so much. And once you look up those vitamins and those minerals within that candy, then you can fill yourself up with an actual food that has a lot of that. A lot of those vitamins and minerals. Not just a little piece of candy that has a little piece of whatever, but a full plate. And that's what I mean. When you detach from the candy, you can attach to the food that you need. And this is the same thing in life, which is why I am an avid hater of cold turkey. It feels brutal because it is. And I don't know. To be taught to bury and to resist and to grind is just not my, it's just not me. It's just not for me. And I'm sure it's not for you, and it's not for we. Am I right? We are more interested in the beauty of life. And the beauty of life gives itself grace to understand what it truly wants, to understand why is it so attached to this? How do I detach from this? You do that by giving yourself grace and finding the beauty. Just like when you were a baby, right? Mama and Dada were really happy that you were walking. And before that, and even during that, you fell, you bumped your head, bumped your knees, and XYZ, and so on. But there was beauty in that, and there was fun in that, and there were also tears in that. I'm sure you bumped your head or whatever, and you started crying you started crying. But you gave yourself grace and you learned to walk. You learned to walk, right? And just like when you, as a child, were playing tag, and once again, you'd have fun playing tag, in the world of playing tag, and then you hurt yourself, and you slip and fall, and you cry. You dust yourself off, you give yourself space to cry and things of that nature, and express yourself. And then you go back to playing. You simply do not dwell in that. But you more so dwell in the grace of it. You let yourself go through that. And then after, you keep playing. And through that, you naturally outgrew your stumbling. Through both of those examples, really, you naturally outgrew your stumbling. So, growth is natural, but what deteriorates it? What stops it? These are things you have to learn by giving yourself grace and being observant. And it brings me to Sun Tzu's quotes that you have to know thy enemy and know thyself to gain success. The best place to know, the best place to know things, not hate, not bash, not destroy, not criticize, but to know or to observe, is from a place of calmness. And that is what is truly important when giving yourself grace. When you give yourself grace, when you give yourself space to learn, you do it in a calm way, in a loving way. And that is why, that is how you start to see the beauty in these things, the beauty in your setbacks. That is how you start to understand the setbacks and what they're for and how they're for you and how beautiful they are once more. I'm saying beautiful a whole lot because it is. It really is. But through those things, you start to see examples in this world like the market dipping before it has a high rally, and the galaxy being dark before stars are born. So there has to be a space for that. There has to be a space. And Hermetic wisdom goes into the quote of, the pain prepares the vessel to receive the reward. So in this example, and in many examples, we see that without the darkness, the stars would have nowhere to shine. So in manifesting, you must create a space for what you want. And that's not punishment. That is just natural. And it's just like a composer that wants to learn how to sing. If you want to learn something new, you have to open up. You have to let go of things. And this will happen naturally to the composer. He wants to sing, right? And he loves singing. So he's just going to set up his schedule and he's going to be like, I want to sing on this day, and this day. And he might look back at his schedule and see that, I don't know, two of those days were days where he would usually be composing. But he enjoys singing so much that he's like, forget it. I'm singing and I'm doing a little bit of composing. So just like that, he naturally let go of the old habits of composing, just like how leaves naturally fall and release in autumn. So just like that, you have to see that when you set an intention and you allow it and really surrender to it, then you move, and you move with nature. You don't cling, you don't force, you flow. And what no longer serves you, which would be habits, attachments, or even certain desires, those things fall away effortlessly. Not through grinding, not through punishment, but through grace. So, in conclusion, detachment is not losing. It's choosing. It's choosing the greater. It's choosing the beautiful. And it's choosing to be the space where your truest, most fulfilling desires, or manifestations rather, bloom.